Hello, my dear students. Assalamu alaikum. Let me introduce myself to you. I am Muhammad Khurshid Alam, lecturer in English, Kumira Residential Girls School and College, Kumira Shitagun, Chittagong. Dear students, today I am going to discuss with you transformation of sentences. This is one of the most important and most interesting topic of English grammar. And today, for your information, I will speak a little bit faster because if I speak slowly, the video becomes bigger and it becomes problematic to be uploaded. So let's start to our video. Our topic is simple, complex, and compound sentence. These sentences, you see, these sentences are classed in three categories depending on the number and types of finite clauses. That is, these sentences will be dependent on actually clauses. You have to know the clauses clearly, and if you have got any problems for understanding clauses, you have to take help of grammar. And let's see first a simple sentence. How will you recognize a simple sentence easily? And in this sentence, we know that the sentence contains a subject and a verb and expresses a complete thought. That is, a simple sentence will contain or will have only one subject and only one verb. Only one subject and only one verb. Let's see the example. Rahman plays football every afternoon. So here you see Rahman is the subject, plays is the verb. So one subject, one verb. And let's see the further explanation. In this type of sentence, there is only one independent clause. That is, the whole sentence is a clause and only one independent clause. That is principal clause. And there might be multiple dependent clauses joined by non-finite verbs. Non-finite, most important, these three things you must remember. If you have any problems, you have to take the help of grammar to be clear about the definition of all these three things. Gerund, participle, infinitive. These three things are called non-finite verbs. Gerund is an infinite verb, participle is a non-finite verb, and infinitive is a non-finite verb. So, but there can be only one finite verb. So, one thing you have to be very clear, that is, in every simple sentence there must be only one finite verb, not more than one finite verb, but there may be more than one non-finite verbs. For example, while going there I met him. In this sentence, while going there I met him. In this sentence you see why after a while while going non-finite going, this verb, this is the non-finite verb, that is present participle, and only one subject, and this is finite verb, only one finite verb. And in the next sentence, despite being is the non-finite verb, this is present participle, and attended, this is finite verb. So there is no use of conjunction to join clauses in simple sentences. You see in example number 1 and number 2, there is no use of conjunction for joining the clauses. In which sentence? In simple sentence. But joining words can be used by and. That is, joining words and joining clauses. These are the two different things. You must remember, while, despite, these are conjunction, but they do not join any clause. They do not join any clause. So, and when the conjunction will not join any clauses, that will not be a complex or compound sentence. That will be a simple sentence. Let's see. Bread and butter are my breakfast. Roman and Selim are two friends. Here you see and is a conjunction, but this and has joined only two words, bread and butter, Roman and Selim, not two clauses. So in simple sentence you must have one subject, one finite verb, and there may be a conjunction, but that conjunction won't join any clauses. There must be only one independent clause, and there may be more than one dependent clause. These are the characteristics of a simple sentence. Let's say now compound sentence. We'll now know the characteristics of a compound sentence. In this type of sentence, there are multiple independent clauses and no dependent clause. In a compound sentence, you will have multiple independent clause, more than one independent clause, but there will be no dependent clause. That is, in independent clause means principal clause and dependent clause means subordinate clause. That is, in compound sentence there will be only principal clause, there will be no subordinate clause. All the clauses are joined together by coordinating conjunction. You must remember this thing, this phrases coordinating conjunction. Coordinating conjunction means the conjunctions that will join two principal clauses. That type of conjunctions are called coordinating conjunctions. So you see coordinating conjunctions will be in the compound sentence, and coordinating conjunction will join two or more than two independent clause or principal clauses. Such sentences have two finite verbs and two subjects. Such sentences, that is, in a compound sentence, there must have two finite verbs and two subjects. Let's see the a list of conjunctions used in a compound sentence. Coordinating conjunctions connect two equal parts of sentence. Here are and, but, nor, or, so, yet, etc. These are the these commonly used coordinating conjunctions in a compound sentence. Let's see the example. I tried to speak Spanish and my friend tried to speak English. So, and this is the coordinating conjunction. This is a principal clause. This is another principal clause, and these two principal clauses have been joined together with the help of this coordinating conjunction. And number 2, Rahman played football, so Ria went for shopping. Rahman played football, principal clause. Ria went for shopping, another principal clause, and these two principal or independent clause have been joined together with so. So these two are the these two are the compound sentence. Let's see the characteristics of a complex sentence. My dear students, before going to change the simple complex compound sentences, you have to know clearly the characteristics of these sentences. Otherwise you will have different types of problems. But once you understand the sentences clearly and their characteristics clearly, it will become very easy for you and very interesting. This time complex sentence, complex sentence, this type of sentence consists of at least one independent clause. At least one independent clause. You must remember this. and one dependent clause. That is, in a complex sentence, you must have a depend in principal clause and a subordinate clause. There are two finite verbs. Two finite verbs. You have to remember these two finite verbs joined by subordinating conjunction. This phrase must be remembered. Subordinating conjunction, the conjunction that will be used to join um, clauses in a complex sentence will be called subordinate conjunction. And subordinate conjunctions connect two equal parts. Example, dependent and independent clauses. A subordinating conjunction will join a dependent clause and an independent clause. Here are a list of subordinating conjunctions. So let's see the subordinating conjunctions. These are the most commonly used as subordinating conjunctions, but there are more than there are other subordinating conjunctions than this list. Sorry. Examples, when so these are the, you see, these are the subordinating conjunctions. When he handed in his homework, he forgot to give the teacher the last page. When he handed in his homework, this is the independent clause. He forgot to give the teacher the last page. This is the principal clause. So one subordinate clause and one principal clause have been joined together with a coordinating conjunction when, subordinating conjunction when, and that's why this is a complex sentence. Number two, the teacher returned the homework after she noticed the error. The teacher returned the homework. This is principal clause. After she returned, noticed the error. This is subordinating clause. So one subordinate clause, one principal clause have been joined together with a subordinating conjunction after. Here the students are studying because, subordinating conjunction, because they have a test tomorrow. So the students are studying, this is principal clause. They have a as and because they have a test tomorrow, this is a subordinate clause. Rai and Rahman went to the movies after they finished studying. So these three sentences make it to us very clear that in every complex sentence there must be one principal clause and there must be one subordinate clause, and subordinate clause and principal clause will be joined together with the help of subordinating conjunctions. These are the characteristics of a complex sentence. Complex sentence with relative pronouns as subordinators, subordinating conjunctions. That is, there are some other complex sentence in which you will see the use of relative pronouns, and this relative pronoun will be used as subordinating conjunction here. So these are the most important thing, and that is the complex sentence with relative pronouns are often found in the public examination. So you have to know the use of relative pronouns very clearly. Okay, students, let's go to the change of these sentences. And before that, I will give you some two tips also here, and these are the very important tips you have to remember. And if you remember these two tips always, I think you will find it very easy to change the sentences correctly. We can change a simple sentence into a compound sentence or a complex sentence. A simple sentence can be changed into compound and complex. This is usually done by expanding a word. You must remember this thing: expanding a word or phrase in clause. That is the most important thing, because when you will change a sentence into complex or compound, then you will have to expand a phrase or a word. But when you will change a compound or a complex sentence into a simple sentence, then you will have to reduce a clause or a word. Again, let us discuss it again. By expanding a word or a phrase, you will make a simple sentence into a complex or compound sentence, and by reducing a clause or a word, you will change a complex and compound sentence into a simple sentence. These are the most important thing to remember. Okay, my dear students, let's see the changing. To transform into simple sentence, you have to remember this thing. When you will go to transform a sentence into a simple sentence, you will have to use non-finite verb. Non-finite verb, my dear students, I have already discussed it. Non-finite verb, and if you have got any problem, we will discuss it in our later video, and you can also get help from the grammar. Don't use any conjunction. So these are the two key things. In a simple sentence, you will have to use non-finite verb, but you will have to avoid using conjunction. Always maintain the meaning of the given sentence. Remember one thing, my dear student, this is the very important thing. When you will change, if your sentence loses the original meaning, then you will get no marks. That's why you have to maintain the meaning of the given sentence. To transform into compound sentence, use coordinating conjunctions. When you will go to transform the compound sentence, then you have to use coordinating conjunctions, and we have already said which are the coordinating conjunctions. Use separate subjects and verbs. That is, you will have to use subjects and verbs, and that verbs must be finite verbs. Always maintain the meaning. In the case of compound sentence, you will have to maintain the meaning also. Then let us come to the complex sentence. To transform into complex sentence, you have to use subordinating conjunctions. We have already discussed it earlier. Separate subjects, separate verbs. In a complex sentence, you will have to use separate subjects, separate verbs. Always maintain the meaning. Dear students, you see, in 3 types of sentences you have been told to maintain the meaning. This is the most important thing. If you change the meaning, if your changed sentence loses the original meaning given in the given sentence, then your transformed sentence will go wrong. So remember this thing and try to maintain the meaning always. Okay, now see the example. When, as, since, because, complex sentence. That is, when, as, since, because. Using these subordinating conjunctions, there will be some complex sentence. And after this thing, when, as, since, because, after this thing, verb ing or being plus verb 3 or because of simple and compound. That is, let's see it clearly in here. If you have when, if you have when in the beginning of a complex sentence, if you have uh, when in the when, as, since, because in a sentence, that is in a complex sentence, you will make it simple by using ing with the verb or being. Seeing the police hidden away. Seeing the police hidden away. That is, in a complex sentence, if you have when, as, since, because, when you will change it into simple sentence, then when, as, since, these are clauses, these conjunctions will be omitted, and the subject will be omitted. You will add ing to the verb, or if there is if you have am, is, are auxiliary verbs, and for auxiliary verbs we will to use being to make the sentence simple. And when you will go to make the complex sentence into a compound sentence, then you will use and for when, as, since, because. If you have when, as, since, because in complex sentence, in compound sentence you will use and for all these subordinating conjunctions. He saw the police and ran away. Here a subject he has been omitted, because in compound sentence, if the subject of the first clause and second clause are same, then in the second sentence or in the second clause, same subject it need not be written. Let's see the second example. This complex sentence has been started with as. So as, and there is an auxiliary verb. That's why when you are making simple, you have used being. And being, so being, and you can use because of also for making the sentence simple. But you see the same thing for as. In compound sentence, coordinating conjunction and has been used here. So let's see the rule number 2. If, unless. In some complex sentence you will see this type of subordinating clause, if, unless. And for making this type of complex sentence into a simple sentence, you will have to use by in the beginning or without in the beginning, and with the verb you have to add ing, and your complex sentence will automatically be changed into simple sentence. And or you will use or, if you have you will use or in compound sentence if you have unless or if in a complex sentence. So let's say if you work hard you will succeed, and this sentence have been made simple by working hard. And in the compound sentence, or has been used. This is a conditional sentence. This conditional complex sentence will be changed into compound sentence with the help of or. Okay, now let's see number 3, relative pronoun. Relative pronoun means WH word that complex non-finite form, direct adjective, adverb, simple. That is, when you will make it simple, you will have to use non-finite form of verb or direct adjective or adverb to make uh, a complex sentence having relative pronoun into a simple sentence. And if you want to change these types of complex sentence into compound sentence, you will have to use and. Let's say the sum which has been done by him was very hard. Which has been done, this is called relative, this is called relative clause, and this is which is a relative pronoun. And to make it simple, we have to do the sum done by him. The sum done by him, that is direct, that is done by him. This is a non-finite verb. The sum done by him, non-finite verb, and this is participle. Participle means non-finite verb. And to make it compound, and has been used here. And has been used. Okay, my dear students, let's see some more examples. Salam is a boy who is very intelligent. Here, as a direct adjective has been used. Salam is a very intelligent boy, and has been used to make it compound. It was daylight when he woke up. When he woke up, this is somewhat exceptional. This is a clause, and this clause has been reduced to a phrase at daylight. Reduced by reducing a clause into a phrase, we can make it simple. And for making it compound, we have used and. Again, you say he admitted that he was guilty. He was guilty. This phrase has been reduced to a phrase, his guilt. This is clause and this is phrase, and using and, this sentence has been transformed into compound sentence. Okay, this is the most common and easy rule, and you get this sentence using though although complex sentence in almost every public exam. So if you have though although in a complex sentence, you have to use in spite of or despite to make it simple, and to make it compound you have to use but. Let's see the example. Though he tried hard, he failed. In spite of trying hard, he failed. So instead of though, we have used here in spite of, and to make it compound we have used but, coordinating conjunction. So that in some complex sentence you will see structure, so that, and to make it simple you have to use infinitive to, and compound, to make it compound you have to use coordinating conjunction and. Let's see the example with, so that we can live well. So instead of so that, infinitive to has been used here, and to make it compound we have used and. Okay, my dear students, these are the most important rules for you, and if you practice these rules again and again, you will find it very easy to understand the changing of simple, complex, compound sentence, and you will become highly skilled in English. So I have given you some homeworks. If you change the following sentences as directed, you will understand the topic more clearly, and keep safe. Until then, bye bye.